And welcome back, and we're always happy that you're with us here. I thought today I'll continue with these 8 verses of thought transformation. Seems like these will be several lifetimes to actually understand and realize, because each one of them there are many commentaries on, and they're very dense because, of course, as I've said before, they directly challenge our self-centeredness. So I'm on verse number 7, and I did want to say that getting ready for this talk today, I was looking on the Tupten Children website at several things on the 8 verses, and I encourage you to go there and just put the 8 verses of thought transformation into the search window, and you'll get some lovely audio from Venerable and others to explain these verses. So this one is, in short, I will offer directly and indirectly every benefit and happiness to all beings, my mothers. I will practice in secret, taking upon myself all their harmful actions and sufferings. So this is so packed. In a very short time, I will say something I hope is hopeful. I will offer directly and indirectly. So I sat and thought about that a bit this morning, and I haven't heard so much about that particular phrase from Venerable. But for me, what it points at is to be creative about the way that we help others. Sometimes direct intervention isn't so helpful. And so thinking indirectly, maybe we're in a situation and it would be more skillful to ask someone else to talk to the person. Or maybe you already know you can't do something directly, so indirectly what you can do is this Tonglen practice. They may and probably should never know you're doing it for them, and or prayers for the person, or doing practices and then offering the merit of that practice to create a more positive atmosphere around them. Venerable has always explained we can't change anyone's karma. We're not going to stop a car accident for them from happening. But we can create some kind of a positive atmosphere around them by dedicating this kind of positive merit. So directly and indirectly requires us to be skillful. What makes sense in this situation? I know I used to do a lot of cross-cultural training, and people not from mainstream American culture pointed out a lot how direct we are, how we go in with a lot of action and a lot of action plans and a lot of I know what should happen here. And this can be an indication of some arrogance on our part. I know it has been on mine many times, still is at times. And so just there's this Chinese word about the wa, kind of walking into a room and understanding the wa before you do anything. Really understanding what's going on and who's here and what's already happening, and joining in that rather than I come in and I'm going to stir this up and have it go the direction I want. So those skillful means to me are implied with this offer directly and indirectly this benefit and happiness. And we offer every benefit and happiness. There's no reason to hold back anything. Why? Because of the next phrase. All of these beings have been our mothers. And I think a real skillful thing I heard early in Buddhism when I was pretty confused, about the idea of all people having been my mothers, and even more animals having been my mothers. And also that the mother of this life didn't seem to always be so helpful to me. So one teacher had said to me, well, just take the stance and attitude and see what it does to your mind. And I did that for a while, like, what if all beings have been my mothers? What if all beings have been kind to me? And it was just wonderful what it does to my mind. I mean, forget whether it's true or not. It's just a very helpful thing for the mind. So that was where I began with this this idea. And now I feel much more sure that all beings have had some kind of very close relationship in the past, you know, and that we go around in this cycle, and we come around in all kinds of forms, and helping one another and harming one another. So that's why we do these verses, to end that suffering. So all beings, my mothers, and also meditating more with the skill of Venerable Chitran about the kindness of our parents, because for a long time I wasn't able to see that, and now I can actually see that very, very clearly in so many ways. Then it says, I will practice in secret, taking upon myself all their harmful actions and sufferings. Well, the secret part is pretty clear. We don't need to be building up our big fat egos. I've got one giant enough to work on. And if we tell a person, oh, I'm helping you by doing Tonglen for you, well, you can imagine how that's going to go over. And there's no reason to, unless it might be helpful. Maybe they're on their deathbed and they might wonder what you're doing, and they might say it feels quite good what you're doing, and some people have told stories about that, and the person says, what is it that you're doing, as you're sitting there, and they've shared, and the person feels very touched. But then it's not the motivations to, again, help them, not to build our egos up. And we can't really take their harmful actions and sufferings on in the sense of they will be freed from them. I think some high-level beings can do that probably. But what we're doing is transforming our minds. That's the purpose of these 8 verses. So they're called thought transformation, because we're transforming our minds. So we're trying to, this one builds a lot of fortitude. I have a friend a close friend who became a paraplegic, and from the time of that accident, I often would return to that accident and to his situation of being able to walk 1 hour, next hour not able to walk, and feel my resistance to taking on that situation. You know, it's like, I don't want that, you know, I don't want to be a paraplegic, I don't want to live in a wheelchair the rest of my life, no, 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 no. And then looking at that mind, which is all around I, and then looking at his condition, a person I dearly love, and saying to myself, well, if I could actually take that away and from him, would I do that? So this is the kind of question that this meditation leads to. And what would it mean? And actually viewing or imagining the person free of that suffering and seeing their incredible joy. And the amazing thing about this, if you do it, you move from this aversion towards doing it to an actual sharing in their joy. And then all of a sudden you notice, wow, I went from aversion to actually feeling happy. But I just took this on in my imagination. So I think this is the trick of both seeing the interdependence. This practice has so much in it, but seeing the interdependence and seeing how strong we can get our minds and hearts so that we will someday be able to actually really, really help beings. We see examples of this. People go around the world, they go to Africa and they help with famine, and we have one man who's visited here quite a number of times and works with a group that goes to some of the most horrible places, and the things he has seen, the suffering he's like seen dead on, would probably make me faint. But he's there, he's present, he's loving, and I think that this practice builds that kind of quality of mind which we want and need in order to help ourselves and others. So that's another one of the 8 verses of thought transformation by Mangri Tangpa, and continue to enjoy and practice them as best we can. Thank you.